So Sub Skrilla did a bunch of the joints for me. He did the first thing I went to his page and there was like 2 joints I picked out. And one of them I used, it was a joint I ended up using for criminal rap. But then he produced like I think probably like 6 joints on the project. I think he did Analyze, he did Southside, I think he did Thorough, he did criminal rap, and I think that might be it. So Sub Skrilla, he was super dope. Another cat I reached out to was Illusion. Illusion did Basement, Around the Clock, and Drop It On Him. Who else is there? There was another producer named KD who did a joint, and another producer named Mad Shirt who did a joint, and another producer named Vink. He did a joint called the joint he produced was Break It Down. And that was a cool experience too, because he sent me like 3 or 4 really hot ones, but that was just that beat was super smooth and laid back. I wrote that one in like 20 minutes and just kind of did it right there. That was a fun one. But what was dope about each one of those producers, when I reached out to them, they were amazing to work with, and they were super easy, and you know they showed mad respect, and they, just like me, they just wanted to build, and that was the dopest part for me. You know, I always ask, you know, when I'm at work, reach out to these producers, like, you know, what are you looking for, or what do you need, you know, type of thing, or, you know, what price wise or whatever. And a lot of these producers just want to build and work just like me. So that's the dopest part, you know, kind of like again, the fellowship with that.
Right. What was that beat selection like? Did they send you a bunch of tracks you had to pick from, or were they, you know, kind of tailored, you know, for you specifically, or, you know, how was that creative process?
I was lucky that each one of them probably sent me a beat pack. I would think, I think Sub, who I chose the most, he sent me the most beats, but he was the first one I reached out to. And I think Sub sent me a pack of like 12, and then I think I used five or 6. Vink sent me 4, and honestly, the other 3 he sent me, I probably would have I would rap on all 3 of them. They're all amazing, but they didn't fit the vibe of the project. They were more summertime feel to me, but they were great beats. And Illusion was great because we worked together, and he like on Basement, he had that hook. He kind of had that hook already in there for me. So that joint was easy for me to write myself as being a collector like yourself. Basement was, you know, I was like, ooh, you know, and he sent me a pack. He sent me I think he sent me 6 or 7 too. Not all of them had Basement. I was lucky to have that all. Not all of them had hooks on them, but they all sent me a nice little pack of a few. The only one I think I did one-on-one for was Mad Sure, and he produced a joint called Rest off there.
Okay.
It has like a Nas sample cut up on it where he's like, sleep is a cousin of death and stuff.
So after you recorded those tracks and sent it back to those producers, what kind of feedback, reaction did you get from these guys?
It was dope, honestly. That's always the part, the nerve-wracking part for me, kind of, you know what I mean? Because that's the first person you want to be like, boom, give me the green light. But of course, you want the honest opinion. You don't want the yes man shit, because then when it gets to the other people, they're like, what is this? And you're like, you should have told me. But they actually showed mad love. We went back and forth. I'll say this project really got me better online skill-wise, chatting back and forth. Jokes was always great with that. 1914, we always spoke on the phone. There are people around the way. Jubei was always online, and we would speak from time to time, messages here and there, but Jokes was the great contact because he's very savvy online. So this is my first time where I was like messaging really back and forth through email and on SoundCloud with these guys. And it was great because they didn't really ask anything. They were just happy to make good music, dude. And I find that with a lot of the dope crowd that just get on those NPCs and SPs that are just putting out those beats, they're so amazing. Some of those dudes just reach out sometimes, and They're looking for, sometimes they're in the instrumental crowd and that's just what they want to do. But the cats who want to make music, a lot of times it's just, you know, dope experience, man. So it was great working with these guys, each one of them. I had no issues with none of them.
So talk a little bit about the features on that project and your relationship with those guys.
Okay. So all those cats, every feature on there is a dope MC from the South Florida scene. Some rocking shows with and doing you know, just being around on the scene. I've rubbed shoulders with all those cats. Started out, I guess, first biggest feature was probably Money Mobley. He's been really doing big things in Florida. Him and this another cat named Shotty, they did this project, MI Aliens, down out of Miami, and got amazing feedback. But Money Mobley's really been putting out a lot of dope music, super dope feature. And he actually, I sent him like 3 joints, and he sent me back like the next day 3 verses, like. And he's a writer and a worker. He's got a whole scene behind him. So shouts to him. Super dope dude. There's Serum on there. Serum's a Miami legend again too. He's been around the scene. God, he's one of the staples from the early battle days with Recognize, and they used to be out in back of H's yard. So he's super dope MC. His name's Serum. He has a crew called Serum Manifesto, but he's been around. He's got tons of his own projects. Serum super dope. I had everyone on that posse cut on South Side is family. It's super dope. That was my first time. Actually, no, I'm lying. That was my first time working with Belief. He actually shoots music videos in Miami too, and his work's been amazing. Knowledge Medina's on there. That's family. 6 Cardinals on there. That's family. He actually moved up to North Carolina. He's doing his thing out there in the scene. And then H and Jokes actually got on that joint for me. Obviously, Jokes is the other half of Bench, and you know H's family too, as Bench and H and his crew, Alpha Numerics, combined, and we put out a project called Alpha Bench. That was something we worked on in that hiatus between Adventures in 8-Bits and Box Cutter. That was recorded then, but we didn't release it till about 2 years ago. But got a lot of local love on that one too, and that was a cool project. But all those features, I would recommend anyone, if you search those names across any platform, those folks' music will pop up, and if you like my shit, I'm sure you most likely like their stuff.
Right. Once that project hit the streets, what was that feedback like from the consumers? I know you spend a lot of time shooting videos and getting the word out there. What was that feedback like from the consumers?
So that was great because in that time I connected with Mad Good Records, and he's been that crew at DJ and them, they've been phenomenal in helping me create content. Put stuff out, helping me with my direction, and just getting it out to the fans, getting it on people. When they see certain ears, they say, "Hey, reach out here." And that was an experience with him, kind of just learning from there and getting it out to the people. But I finally, I put that project. We put the project on CD and cassette. We were able to get that in a few online cassette stores and stuff, which was great. We did pretty well on Bandcamp. And that was a start where I was like, okay, it felt good because I was like, okay, I can do this. And what was dope is even when Bench still does our shows, I usually still throw in a couple of my joints, of course. Now I've started to I've been asked a few times to start doing some solo sets, and I keep going back and forth on it, but I think it's something I'm gonna try. Of course, my man Jokes will be right there beside me, hyping up as he always does. But maybe try some stuff out like that with more of a focus while Jokes is falling back right now, so we can push more of the stuff I'm releasing. But it's still always Bench everything we do.
Right. Have you ever been able to tour off of some of these songs? Small shows after the release of that project.
So everything I did was pretty much local down South Florida. I didn't pursue doing any tours. Honestly, we've done shows all up and down Florida, from Orlando and Gainesville, and then of course Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, Lake Worth, all over the place. But no, we didn't expand too much, and I think at that time I you realize sometimes how small the scene is, even though it's as big as it is for you. You realize, hey, there's so much more out there,
Right.
especially over the last year. Or I moved away. I had to move out of Florida just the past year on some work stuff up here. I moved. I'm like 20 minutes outside Indianapolis. It's a totally different world for me.
What? I'm 20 minutes from Indianapolis.
Word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Brownsburg.
Okay, I'm in Pendleton. It's about 20 minutes from Indianapolis.
Word. Damn. Yeah. See, and like, so I don't know much out here, but I'm
Oh,
cold, yo. I'm cold. I'm telling you, I'm cold.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's wild, man. We might have to link up sometime or something. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
dope.
absolutely.
That'd be dope for sure, man. You gotta show me, because I haven't checked out too much hip hop really here, and that's why I was kind of, I need to, I've been to a few record stores. I checked out the scene a little bit in Indianapolis, but nothing, no shows or nothing locally. So I need to kind of get out there and kind of see what's going on. I've been stuck here. When I must have here, I've just been doing work, and then it's been cold lately, man. And it's rough for me, yeah.
Yeah, that made you think because it's been miserable out this piece.
Yeah, once that like 10 inches hit, I was like, oh shit, man, this is wild, man. It was like, but I'm getting used to it, you know what I mean? But I still frequent down south and fly down there to I'm flying down there in April still to meet my homies, do some music stuff, shoot videos, and still pursuing both. But I take it as an opportunity, an opportunity for me out here to also kind of spread my wings and do a little more. Matt Good's out in New York. He's invited me a few things to do some stuff over in New York. So I just need to start piecing things together and, using these opportunities, making, taking benefit of these opportunities type of thing.
No, definitely a small world. Definitely gonna link up.
Right. Word.
Few months after that project, you linked up with Jubei for Jubei Stash. Talk about the plan and remixes of the '90s tapes.
Yeah. So that was again, Jubei. He has his own remix projects that he puts out from time to time. He's got one for like Action Bronson, Sean Price. He puts the free project, super dope. Anyone check him out. But he was like, "Yo, what would you mind?" He goes, he loved the project, and he how we met Jubei originally was he remixed 2 joints of ours off our mixtape. So he always loves to do that. So he put the idea out there, and I was like, "Hey, let's start." I recorded some new joints for there. I had a couple joints from another project, and then he remixed some of the '90s stuff, and we put that all together to make the project. I have another 10-song album with me and Jubei of all brand new stuff too, but slowly putting stuff out, not to oversaturate everything, and I want people to absorb the music and enjoy it instead of just shoving it down their throats every week. But Jubei's great to work with because he's very clever on samples, and the same thing is he'll send me a joint or he'll remix a joint. Let's say we'll go back and forth on it, and then a week later he'll be like, he's just like myself, he's his own worst critic, and be like, I don't like this one. Then he sends me another joint that's just as amazing but changes the whole vibe of the record. So it's like, I think that's the purpose of a remix, to change this, kind of be like, oh, maybe keep the theme but still change the vibe of how it feels, whether it makes it more funky or harder or smoother or something like that. And he kept doing that. He kept switching the joints. But each one I loved. But what was great about it was when he switched the joints, I would say, give me that beat you weren't using. So we could keep building and whatnot. But working with Jubei is always a great experience. And we actually sent out to my man's George Spitz. He's from Llama Beats. He engineered the project. He's an amazing engineer. He's done all types of work for artists in South Florida. He does some engineering stuff for Slightly Stupid. So he's really official. He's an amazing homie to have because he's just music. That's what he is. He's music. Whether he's drummed for me while doing shows. You know, we played a sample on the MPC. He's playing the live drums, and I'm MCing. So from engineer, he raps, he makes beats, he does it all. So it was dope to have that. And he's met Jube, and Jube has engineered his product. He's mixed for Jube before, so it's like a collective family there, you know. And we always look out for each other. But so yeah, me, Jube, and George kind of work together, and Jube and George kind of really focused on having you know, the mix the engineering right on that album, having the drums pop, and you know, there was a couple samples I used, or a couple where I didn't use the acapella, so we made sure we swapped them out to get the acapella right and things like that. So small touches, but Jube and George was great for that, and George always is able to put the sound behind my voice that, you know, makes me sound good.
Do you prefer the new way of recording material, you know, rather than being in the studio with a producer? I mean, you kind of get to record at your own, you know, time and, you know, whatever you got going on. So do you miss at all being in the studio with the producer?
Hell yeah. I mean, I feel like, I guess like it's like the digital and analog. Like, I'm an analog guy, but they're a piece of digital I like. So it's still, to me, is I loved the fellowship, everyone being together, and the sound, and just the simple stuff of saying, hey, jump on, say that part, or ad lib this. And like when I listen to OGC, and you would hear Rock undertoning the records, and you're like, yo, they're just doing the ad libs on certain records, and you're like, yo, that's so dope, man. And so that was something like Jokes. There's times I don't do ad libs, and Jokes just ad libs my verse, or vice versa, or someone just sings a hook on one of our records. So I really miss that part. And yeah, that fellowship, that collaboration, and just also too, when you're in there and everyone's writing, you know, you kind of like, you know, to me, it's. I know some cats are there, like, I'm rip his head off trying to write, but it's also, to me, it's just making the best record out of bringing all the heads together. So, but I love that fellowship. But I also love now, it's like, hey, you need a verse, boom, I'm knocking it out, or just the freedom to work at your own pace and speed. You know what I mean? It's so flexible, and but it also oversaturates because there's a lot out there that, you know, is not up to par.
Right. Talk about your new single that dropped last month, Come Around, featuring PFM Shogun.
Yeah. So PFM is another homie out of South Florida. He has a crew, PFM and Iron Aura. They put out a project called Pomegranate Sunset. Really dope album. I've known them for years. I opened up for Benchwarmers, opened up for their album release party, and that was probably back in like 2015, 2016, something like that, when it dropped. Mad Good Records actually re-released that project. So Mad Good Records is actually putting out a compilation volume 2, and that's what Come Around it's gonna be on that, and it's gonna be on my next solo project. That joint's produced by Slazy Beats. He's another producer I met through SoundCloud, and talk about a beat pack. Oh shit. He sent me like 5 or 6 joints. I recorded some. Come Around was one of the first few I recorded. He probably sent me like 100 more beats. And like some are snippets and whatnot, but you know, same thing. He's a producer, he builds, and you know, so I think we got about 20 in the stash. We just got to start picking. We're still doing the picking and the engineering and stuff on that side of things for that record. PFM is, yeah, like I said, he's another homie out of South Florida, super dope MC to check, and he just he added to the record his own kind of appeal and flow, and I love his style and just how he the words he uses and how he puts his verses together. I always think it's super dope. So it was good to get a couple in the stash with him. I got a few more with him to put out. We're actually working on some video stuff that for that one too.
What can we expect from your upcoming project?
So This I got two in the works. I think the next one I'm actually I shouldn't say think the next project I'm actually releasing is going to be a project with a gentleman named DJ Quan. It's me and DJ Quan. We got a little collective with a couple other MCs that are really good good peoples that we've met over time. There's DJ Quan, another producer named Kondu. There's an MC named Lendor, an MC named Rock King, and an MC named Notes. And we're all kind of spaced out, but it's another crew where it's kind of just like fellowship. And me and Kawan got about, I think it's going to be 12 records. It's called What a Time to Be Alive. And that's going to come out on Mad Good Records also. So that's going to probably supersede the joint I have with Slazy Beats, because we're still picking the joints out and mixing it. And he had to deal with a little, he was moving and stuff. So we had to put a little stuff on hiatus for a couple months, because obviously he's still picking, changing drums, making sure everything's right on his end before we can send everything off to the engineer. So we still have a little more work to do to put that together, while What a Time to Be Alive is pretty much finished. We're getting that mixed. I think we have about 3 more records to get mastered, and then we'll work on, we're working on some video stuff, a few different videos for that one. And hopefully, I think we're planning to release that in probably end of April, early May type of thing.
Okay. What can we expect from the Benchwarmers clique?
So Ben, that's another one. We have another project, excuse me, called Jackie Jubilant, and that's a joint that's been we have the artwork done, we have videos done. We're still finishing the engineering side of that, and I'm hopeful we're going to be getting that probably the 3rd quarter of this year would be my hope. Like I said, Joke's still going through some things, and I could release it without him, and he'd have the full support. But I want him to be a part. So when things like this happen, I would love to have him part of it and say his side of the story and say, his appeal, or his piece, excuse me. Just because, like I said, it's family. So that's why everything I do is still is always repping the bench. That's the name.
Right. Any other avenues Travisty is looking to explore outside of music?
Outside of music, I've been asked once or twice to do some acting stuff, and that might be cool. I'd probably have to start out playing someone just like myself, because I don't know how my skill set would be. I don't want to end up being goofy, but I'm up for the arts. I've always dabbled, music. When we say music, I've dabbled in production throughout the years, but I've never. My friends were too dope to make me. I think I started emceeing, so when I started getting with the producer, I keep pointing over here. I have an ASR 10 over here next to me, and I used to get down on that real heavy, but I haven't in a long time, and I always want to get back into producing. But honestly, since the pandemic and I started doing the Travisty thing a little more, it's picked up a lot for me, and that's nothing to the bench name and stuff. It's just without Jokes handling, I was able to focus just on the music, but now I have to focus on the music, the release, the business, and everything with that. So it's a lot more on me. So just a lot of learning and keep pushing out there. I want to start dabbling into a little videography myself, but everything I do has to be, I want it to be up to par. I don't just want it to be content.
Right. How does Travisty feel about, hip hop in 2025, and what keeps you inspired to keep creating music?
Popular music, I'm not a fan of, which stinks sometimes. I do love the Kendricks, the J. Cole's. Everyone knows that's that type of thing. The underground, I think it's dope, but there's so much out there. So I love that there's so much out there, and I'm a digger, so I can always find music. But I find myself mostly listening to the underground or the stuff I grew up on, which would be like the mid-late 90s type of thing. I love the Boot Camp, the MOP, the DJ Premier, Large Professor, that type of steez. But I think it's great the amount of music that's coming out. And I think it's great the straight to consumer. And I think it's great you can create your own avenue. And sometimes I don't know how, like the compilation where you're able, the discovery of other artists, I think is hard sometimes,
Right.
but you just got to keep, luckily there's people like yourself and these other cats who are promoting, um, not only legends, but other, the underground MCs to try to continue to push, I guess, dope music throughout there. So I think 2024 is great, but I wish there's there's so much out there. Sometimes for the average listener, it's hard to piece through.
Right. For those who are listening and trying to find out where they can purchase your music, what streaming services are you guys on, and where can they continue to follow you in the future?
So we're on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, um, any streaming service, Deezer, all those. We're part of any platform. You can search for the Benchwarmers Click, CLIQUE, or there's Travisty The Lazy Emcee, MCEMCEE, not MC. You can find any platform, maggoodrecords.com. They have CDs and cassettes for two of my projects, and we got the third one coming out that it's going to be released on Mad Good Records. So what a time to be alive. You can Instagram at the Invincible Bench, or Instagram at Travisty The Lazy Emcee. I'm always down to build. I like to talk to my peoples. I appreciate the fellowship. Sometimes I am reserved, but everything is appreciative. I love to talk hip hop, talk back and forth, and reach out. I'm down to build, and I just want to make good music, and keep pushing dope music, pretty much.
Right. Are you looking to work with MCs and producers in the future? And if so, where can they contact you at?
Yeah, I'm always down. I'm always down to build, for sure. Dope MCs, dope producers. You guys can hit me up on the Instagram. Like I said, just hit me up at Travisty The Lazy Emcee is probably the easiest thing to hit me up. And yeah, from there, just shoot me a DM. I pretty much answer everyone that's not spam. And I try to put something together. And what's crazy is that you say that some of it's been a little overwhelming, because I'm like, I got a few cats in the stash. I owe some versions to, and everything I put out, I want to be quality. I don't just want to send you something. So but hit me up, because I'm down to build, man.
No doubt. And for those that's been following you for a long time, and those new people who have come across your music, any last words for those supporters?
Yo, I appreciate y'all riding with the bench. Appreciate y'all riding with me. Dope hip hop, dope beats and rhymes. You love the bench, you love Travisty. Continue rocking with us. I got some more goodies for everyone, and I'm hopeful to get some vinyl out later this year.
Very dope.
People keep asking me.
Out. Anytime you got some new music or a new project, you're always welcome to come back. Let's get that out to the masses. Very right. That is Travisty The Lazy Emcee. I am the journalist Sin-seer. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate your platform, man. Big shots.
Out. See you again in the near future.
Word.